Good morning, good afternoon. We are the Trifecta Sports Podcast. This is episode 11. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and do that now. And also, if you are listening on Spotify or iTunes, download our episodes, follow us on there, show us some support, share it with your buddies. Our episode today is going to be centered around women in baseball. Coop's going to kick us off here in a minute with a couple of young ladies who are making an impact and a splash in the game of baseball, which is my favorite sport. There's a lot of interesting things coming out of the NFL camps. And then something that we've all been talking about lately is the NHL Playoffs. Me and Coop, not much of hockey people, but David, once he moved out west to, where do you live, Dave? Iowa, Indiana? One of them southern states over there? I knew that.
Keep guessing, you'll get it.
I'm just messing with you, Dave.
Oh my god! I don't need that tonight, man.
We've been watching a lot of hockey. Something I've never done before, but I'm really enjoying it. I was a self-proclaimed Predators fan, and that's how things work when I'm a fan of your team. We get swept to the first. We get swept to the first round, but it's okay.
Get the brooms out.
Better luck next year, Preds. Then we're going to finish off with the NBA playoffs. Pretty exciting stuff going on. Usually the only time I watch the NBA is during the playoffs. So, Coop, go ahead and kick us off here with women in baseball.
Yeah, a lot of firsts this year for women in baseball, and we're talking about that at the major league level or its affiliates. So, Alyssa Nakin was the first female to act as a first base coach this year in an MLB game. She filled in for the San Francisco Giants, and it's just really encouraging to see a woman on the field in a male-dominated professional sport. And then Kelsey Whitmore became the first female to start in the field for an Atlantic League team. A couple days after that, she's a two-way player, and she actually was also the first female to pitch in an Atlantic League game. She came in against the Lexington Legends that we all know. She got an out with the bases loaded, I think, in the ninth inning, but made her debut. I think it's awesome that that's happening. And we also have Rachel for the Tampa Tarpoons. I don't want to mispronounce her last name because it is
it's
a mouthful.
Rachel Balkovic.
Okay. There you go. She is the first female manager of an MLB affiliated team, and that is a single A affiliate of the New York Yankees. So a lot of barriers broken this year in baseball. I think baseball has actually done a great job to start the season. Players being mic'd up has been awesome. There's been a lot of milestones hit by active players, and I think it's been pretty entertaining. Coming out of the holdout, this is exactly what they needed, and this diversity is just helping that.
Yeah, and the thing about baseball is if you don't actually love the game, it's really hard to watch if you're not invested in it in some form or fashion. I'm a Reds fan. The Reds have sucked so bad this year. We're going to talk about Dave's betting and how it affects the Reds. So, long story short, David likes to bet against the Reds, and almost every time. What do you like? 4 for 5 now? Is that about right?
No, I am.
I was talking about
0 for 5.
You won yesterday because you bet the money line. You didn't actually bet for them to lose, didn't you?
No, I was an idiot, and I took
and they won by
Milwaukee 1.5 runs, and sure enough, the Reds lost by 1.
So when David bets against the Reds,
when they actually lose, so
which is hilarious to me. So every time he places a bet against the Reds, you can guarantee they're going to win, or they're at least going to cover.
I mean, no, let's talk. What is their record right now? Or,
they've won the last. They've won 2 series in a row,
something like that.
Yeah, I think they're 6-24.
So
maybe 7 today.
So
They won today.
6-24, and I have bet them. I should have bet them, but okay. So they've won 7 games. I have bet them to lose 7 games, or bet them to lose 4 games, and I am 0-4 in those games.
Nice.
They are 7-30.
That's bad. That's a bad beat, Dave. You can't beat like they're the worst team. They're the worst team in baseball, and you can't even win when you bet against them.
As soon as they traded Jesse Winker, and they had no logical reason, we weren't getting any big name stud in return. I told Kelsey, I told everybody, I'm a Chicago White Sox fan now, no longer a Reds fan. They aren't even trying. And, this is what the baseball
I believe in them.
Some people don't believe in them. I believe in them. They will kick you when you are wrong. And by God, they are kicking the crap out of me right now. So, but, the law of average here, they're either going to keep losing, and I'm going to win eventually, or by God, I might have the Reds win 130 games.
That'd be the greatest thing
You're
ever.
welcome. Kelsey would be very pissed if I lost
$130
betting on the.
But anyway, the Major League Baseball and everything that happened with the lockout, which we covered extensively, having them come back and seeing the things that's happening. We had Miguel Cabrera hit 500 or 3,000 hits. A lot of other things. Shohei Ohtani's showing out. We had a no-hitter last night. A lot of good things. I love when they mock up players. I love it.
Yeah.
When they're talking to them while they're on the field. They're you get a side of them that you don't really see. And baseball players are a different animal. They're more open. It's a game where you can kind of goof off a little bit here and there. And you're supposed to have fun. You have to have fun because it's boring if you don't, right? But like the things they're doing is it's gonna help grow the game. But they just got to do it right and continue to do it with the right people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Clayton Kershaw. He's one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
Hit 2,000 strikeouts, 7 innings into a perfect game and gets pulled. I mean, that was good or bad. That was a huge headline.
Well, he before that game, he told the coach, "This is how many pitches I'm throwing," and he reached his pitch count. So
most of that's on him. Anthony Rendon hitting a left-hand home run in his first ever left-hand at bat. That's
against Brett Phillips.
Crazy.
Brett Phillips we've talked about Brett Phillips. Have we talked about him on the show yet?
I think so.
I can't remember if it was on the show or if it was through our Snapchat group. But Brett Phillips is God's gift to baseball. We love Brett Phillips. He's one of those guys who just makes it fun to watch. And the Mariners or the Rays getting their brains beat in by the Angels. So they bring in Brett Phillips to pitch. He's a position player. He don't even play a position. He don't play on the field ever. He's basically a pitcher at this point. And him coming in, I think Trout hit a bomb off of him. And then Rendon gets up, but he's not a left-handed hitter. He bats right-handed. And he put his shin guard on his left foot. It's supposed to be on the front. But anyway, I'm surprised he had the right helmet on. But hits a home run. The swing looked awful. But then you also had Juan Soto hit, calling time, and then all of a sudden, like Check swinging a home run over the other side. That's a little sketchy to me. I don't believe that happened. I think something's up with that one. But that's me being a conspiracy theorist. There's a lot of cool things happening in baseball right now, and I'm glad it's back. The lockout sucked, but baseball's entertaining.
I think their biggest problem that MLB has right now, which I know they are actively pursuing to putting it to rest, is just getting engagement from fans. And one of my biggest problems of being a Reds fan in Midwest,
can't watch them,
or Central Western.
I can't watch them right now. I live
Reds,
an hour and a half
away from
Cincinnati.
It's always blacked out, and that is the issue. It's not that I would turn it on. Am I going to watch every game? No, but I would watch it probably 2-3 games a week, and it's like there's no engagement for the people that aren't at home. And that's where, NBA, NFL, NHL, all those companies are making great strides getting into the homes and getting on primetime networks. Do we want to listen to Alex Rodriguez and Jessica Mendoza on Sunday Night Baseball? I'll tell you, Twitter says no. So it's just how do we get more engagement and more? Because, like, you turn on Twitter and you see
you can't go watch a game nowhere.
Anthony Rendon hits a home run off Brett Phillips. It's like, well, why is that the only clip I see of that game on Twitter? Like, those teams should be flooding social medias with their stuff. Like, hey, come watch us. We are the best show on dirt. And I think that's where the MLB, there's too much talk about how long games are rather than talking about the product on the field and how talented guys are these days. I mean, it's kind of wild to think about, from technology to, the physical, how great we became. We don't have Babe Ruth drinking beer and eating hot dogs and smoking cigars in the dugout anymore. We have, 6'9" Aaron Judge, human specimen that can hit the ball 600 feet. The talent has never been better. The technology has never been better. But yet, I feel like America's pastime is kind of regressing as a
I think you should
rather
put
than growing like the other ones.
GoPros on their helmets when they hit. Put GoPros on the catchers and the umpires.
You know what my favorite thing during the college World Series is the umpire cam. You can't see his lick. But man, is it cool seeing that ball come in there, and if they hit it, I mean, you can't see where it goes.
I think that'd be awesome.
It's different. It's
MLB,
cool.
if you're listening to the Trifecta Sports Podcast, we want umpire GoPros. That way we can call on their shit when they miss strikes.
It'd probably be really easy to do when they go.
Yeah,
when they go robot ups.
I want mic'd up umpires.
I don't like that idea either. I think that people are torn because umpires right now umpires and officials across all sports, youth and professional, they're a dying breed. Nobody wants to do it because it's a lot of work and people are all selfish and want to win everything, which I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to win too, but at what cost with, the disrespect they receive on a daily basis. But when you're a professional official, you can't be wrong more than
it's part of the game.
2%. If you're a professional official, there are officials out there that their strike to ball call percentage, correct, incorrect, is at like 99%. And like you have people like Angel Hernandez, whose percentage is like 85%. So he's missing 15% of the balls and strikes. Like he's calling them wrong.
Well, I would say that is the mecca of why games are so long these days, though. You are putting the greatest hitters in the world, and you are actually giving them a true strike zone. I was a catcher for 10 years. I loved it when I got the guy who would give me a foot outside. I mean, granted, he was a terrible umpire, but by God, we got done and we played a 7-inning game in, an hour and a half because our guy could hit 12 inches outside. And I think that's where the baseball is a beautiful mess.
That's a perfect analogy. A beautiful mess. That's how I would explain it. A beautiful mess.
I mean, and if you take away the human factor of umpiring,
right,
where's the drama? This is an entertainment business. I mean, we got to remember that first most. It's about entertainment. Do we want a 5-minute review to see if a guy was safer out at first? No. Just call him safer out. The umpire's right. Just like in my softball game tonight, the guy was out. We yelled at the umpire for a minute, and we went on.
Did you hit a bomb today, Dave?
We all got over it. The game went on. Yeah, that was my only hit.
1 for 5.
1 for 5, 4 pop-ups.
Man, I was telling Coop today, I took BP today at practice, and last year I took a couple rounds and I would hit out of 10 pitches, I would hit 3 or 4 of them out. But today was not that day for me. I embarrassed myself in front of my kids, man. And then our other coaches hopped in and they couldn't do it either. We're old. But It's always fun. I tell my guys all the time, like, man, I would kill to have another at bat, and that's why people play slow pitch softball when they graduate and go off and do their own thing because it's competitive. That's why I play golf. But
I'll tell you what I miss more than anything is just getting that absolute crap knocked out of me on the football field. Like, I want to get hit again and stand up and not know which sideline's mine. Like that. Honestly, that's what I miss more than anything.
I don't miss that. I really don't. I can't say I miss that.
Don't say that too loud. All these doctors in the chat are going to come.
So, speaking of getting hit on a football field, we talked about some things earlier today in our group chat. There's some sketchy shit going on in the NFL, fellas. You got Dan Snyder. Dave knows all about Dan Snyder. Was it how recent was this Raiders thing that we're going to talk about, Coop?
This week.
So this week the Raiders fire their president and the league launches an investigation into hostile work environment by the owner. What's his name? Mark Davis? Is that his name? The owner? His last name's Davis.
Yes.
I don't know if his first name's Mark or not. If I screwed that up, I'm sorry.
His dad was Al. He ran it for decades.
Al Davis.
Yeah.
He's the dude. He's the dude with the haircut.
Al Davis.
You guys, everybody,
Yes.
Yeah, it's Mark.
everybody knows. If I say the dude with the haircut, everybody knows what I'm talking
No, Mark
But,
Davis.
Yeah, just
White
stud it up,
jumpsuit
dude.
with
Stud
a
it up.
bang.
Anyway, NFL investigating into some sketchy shit going on with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, let me remind you, last year, Vegas had the John Gruden issue, had the Henry Ruggs issue. There's a lot of drama going on there in Vegas, and I would be lying if I said I didn't see that coming. When you put a team in the most sinful city, literally, in all of the world, bad things are going to happen. So that's the ownership's fault. You need to move the Raiders to like Boise, Idaho, and then all of your problems are going to go away.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it might be Mark Davis's team now, but Al Davis just win, baby. They don't matter.
A little more
Just win.
detail
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
on this. So Dan Ventrell was the president. He got fired on the same day he released a statement. I'm going to read the whole statement because I think it's pretty critical to what's going on. Today, Mark Davis terminated my employment as president of the Las Vegas Raiders. I've committed almost 18 years of my life to the success of the Raiders as general counsel and president. I take that responsibility very seriously, which is why multiple written complaints from employees that Mark created a hostile work environment and engaged in other potential misconduct caused me grave concern. When Mark was confronted about these issues, he was dismissive and did not demonstrate the warranted level of concern. Given this, I informed the NFL. Soon thereafter, I was fired. So, really bad look. The NFL already knew about it. He had, multiple complaints from multiple people, all written, all documented.
And
I don't know
he
what's
got
going
fired
on
for
in
it.
the NFL. Yep.
So there's a lot of sketchy crap, and we talked about this before. Like, you don't see these things happening in other leagues. In baseball, you have PED use. Okay, that's cool. In the NBA, you have dudes going to strip clubs, blowing tens of thousands of dollars on strippers. In the NFL, you have literal murderers.
Yeah.
And they just let them play. The domestic violence issues that's going around right now with Deshaun Watson and all that good crap. There's so many bad things happening in the NFL, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if there's a fix. But something has to happen. Set an example. Just like the Dan Snyder, set an example. Tell them they have to sell the team or have the team be publicly owned like the Green Bay Packers. That's how you do it.
If Trevor Bauer's in the NFL, he's playing this year.
I agree. That's 100% true.
If Earl Thomas was still an active player, I would not say Earl Thomas's career is over if he's still an active player. I don't know if you guys know what's going on with him. So he's on the run from police.
I haven't heard much about that.
He's threatened his wife and kids, like written statements. He's been MIA, like warrants out for him for days. But I really don't think it would get him kicked out of the league.
Do you think this has to do with anything with, CTE, brain functioning Is that why you don't see it in
Not on
other
the
sports?
Not on the executive side. Not from Dan
100%.
Snyder.
That's true.
Not from.
But like player misconduct, things like that, that has a direct correlation. It has to.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and I think a big part of it is, we are a sports podcast. We are sitting here talking about them. They have gotten so big that, they have this persona that they can do whatever they want, and there's no repercussions. And sadly, to this point, there has been no repercussions. That's why you hear this, the Dan Snyder, the, Jerry Jones, now Mark Davis. It's like whenever it's a boys club of 32 owners, and they're enforcing it themselves, like,
yeah.
Well, who's going to enforce
Yeah,
it?
there's no outer
Nobody
agency
because
looking in.
Not to get political, but you see the same thing in our government today. It's like whenever you have people that are able to, get in their pockets or, persuade them to be on their side, the dominoes just fall, and that's how you get your vote. And that's what these guys are doing. It's like, well, if I can convince 15 other guys to not make me sell, then
and I think one important thing we definitely saw during the MLB season, the commissioner works for the owners, right? Like it's his job to protect his owners, their businesses, their revenue. Like that's in his best interest. It's not in, the character of the players I'm putting on the field. That's for them to decide individually for their business. So that's something we talked about before. I think there should be some kind of governing body over these major sports leagues just to, when issues are coming up off the field and you're handling them so differently. We just talked about this last week in regards to Trevor Bauer. There needs to be a standard for professional sports, some kind of, sports entertainment body that sets those punishments. Like, what are the guidelines for this? I think that's what we're missing.
Well, shoot. I mean, you talk about, the steroid era. How many of those guys had to go testify in front of Congress? Kurt Schilling.
Mike Piazza, Rafael Palmeiro.
I'm sure there was others. But right, like, why aren't these guys, answering to the law? Because, I mean, I don't think anybody would openly work for somebody that's a scumbag. If they, I wouldn't. I would hope everybody else has the ability to not to. But, if you want to play in the NFL, it's one of the rare jobs where you got to go wherever they want you. And that's it's terrible, but if that's what you want, you want to do. That's what
it's a crazy world out there in the NFL, and there's probably a lot of things going on behind the scenes in the other sports that we don't really know about or we're not caught up to date. But on a more positive note, sticking with the NFL, the greatest football player of all time has his retirement figured out. The dude just makes deals. He's thrown a touchdown pass already, and he hasn't even played. We don't even know if this is his final year yet. But Tom Brady signs with Fox Sports to be their lead. What are they calling it? Lead what? Lead analyst?
Analyst, I believe.
I don't even know if it's color commentator. I think it's an analyst.
Color?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be doing play-by-play. I don't think he's play-by-play. I think he's probably, sitting at a desk, sitting behind the desk. I think that's what the plan is. But
I believe
that would be
I believe
awesome.
he's joining a game broadcast.
Eli show.
Really?
Got him set up. Yeah, I believe so.
Well, that would be cool.
But he also
Can you imagine him, Drew, and Tony Romo all doing games together?
And... give me.
You don't like Tony Romo?
The other one.
I like Tony Romo.
Tony can. No, he had a strike of magic where he called like 3 plays in 3 weeks, and ever since then it is. the Chiefs are.
Yeah.
I feel like the Chiefs always have Tony Romo because they're always the game of the week. It seems like, and so we always watch it, and it's like, God, this guy. I think
I
he's
don't mind him. I
unbearable.
don't like
I really don't
Troy
like
Aikman.
watching him.
Not a fan. But anyway, 10 years for Brady. $375 million. That's cash, bro. That's straight cash.
More money than
The
he's
dude
made
has got
in
the-
his entire NFL
He's got
career.
the. I'm not going to say he has a perfect life because nobody does. But if you had to pick somebody who is pretty damn close, probably pick a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And that's like, you just think about that, though. Think about where this guy was
Trash.
graduating from Michigan, going into the draft, just uncertain. Got a, the Patriots took a 7th round flyer on him. And then the strike of luck that Drew Bledsoe goes down and Tom Brady just
a goat.
does
A
Tom
goat
Brady
is
thing,
bored.
even though nobody knew Tom Brady was Tom Brady. Right. It's like, and I think that should give everybody hope. It's like, man, I don't have to be my best for whatever 18 years, but God, if I just work
And get
hard,
a little lucky.
you can get pretty far.
Somebody's got to get hurt.
And somebody get a little lucky, but someone might just pay you. Someone might pay you $375 million to talk about football.
Yeah, we're
once a week.
as a podcast.
20 years later,
we're getting ready to sign a 3-year, $0 million contract with AT&T Internet here in Stanton, Kentucky.
20 years later, he comes out and says that it probably was a fumble. Did you guys see that?
Yes!
The tuck roll game?
Yes.
Like,
Charles Woodson is
you can't say.
Yeah.
Have you watched the documentary? If you haven't seen the tuck roll, you need to watch it.
Have you
Because
watched
even in
Man
that,
in the Arena?
No.
I haven't watched that either. It seems kind of corny to me.
But
No,
even
it's a
in
separate
that,
one.
when he's watching that game back right next to his college teammate who forced that fumble, because we're going to call it what it is, he can't even say incomplete pass every time. He's saying fumble. He's tripping over his own words. Like, he knows that was the wrong call. And that call, I'm not saying his talent isn't the greatest of all time. He's proved that. If that call doesn't happen, I don't know that he's a starter next year. I don't know if we get what we've got out of Tom Brady because of that one call. And I don't know if there's another player in sports you can say that about. That one play could have changed their career so much.
You could probably say that about negative plays.
Which is funny you say that.
That was a positive play for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Bill Buckner. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
He's no more for one thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
still.
but there was no controversy there. That just ball went through his legs. But you're talking about a video review.
Incomplete
I can't
pass.
remember what they called it on the field, fumble or incomplete pass. But think about, if there's no review, it's Tom Brady, Tom Brady.
It's one of those things. Like, I love those what ifs in sports, but how it transpired into the career he's had, and then 20 years later for him to say, it was the wrong call after all these years defending it.
Well, I mean,
you could do it.
Not that they
He's probably
you can
just
say
doing
whatever
it to
you
troll
want.
people at this point.
He's
Yeah,
just making.
That's what I would do.
he's getting them to come watch Fox next season.
So, congrats to Tom Brady from, a couple nobodies. But we're going to hit off on some NHL playoffs. Mentioned before, we've been watching a lot of it. We're recording this podcast at 11:22 p.m. on a Wednesday. NHL playoffs are full swing. My team, the Nashville Predators, are already sit at the house watching games. But for me, I'm not a diehard hockey fan, but I have dabbled in it this week and last week since we've talked about it. Usually around this time, I'm sitting here watching a hockey game. The last couple hours, I might not, especially the ones that happen on the West Coast. I'll watch it till I goes to bed. I usually make it at least to the third period, and then usually it's either out of hand or I get too tired and go to sleep. But Dave's going to fill us in on some big hockey headlines.
All right. So, we covered this last week. If you've never watched hockey, just turn it on. Especially now, you're going to see some big hits. Every time that whistle and the play is blown dead, you are going to see a scrum. You might not see a fight, which is kind of a downer, but you're going to see some big boys throwing some weight around. And it is, it doesn't matter which game you watch. Unless it's Avalanche Predators, you didn't want to watch that one. But the other ones, good. So just rattling off here, we got the Calgary Flames and the Dallas Stars are tied 2-2. Currently, the Stars are up 1-0 in the second period of Game 5. We got my St. Louis Blues versus.
I like them.
That's been the series I've watched the most too. I've watched them, and then I watched the Rangers and.
Yeah. So we're going to come back to them, but my Blues lead 3-2, Game 6 tomorrow night in St. Louis. Avalanche swept the Predators in 4. No surprise there. The Avalanche are a wagon. Don't want to have to face them next round, but if I want my Blues to advance, that's who they got to play. Probably one of the more surprising series is the Rangers versus Penguins. Penguins were up 3-1, but they actually dropped Game 5 today. The Penguins are on a slide the last month.
I've watched a lot of that series.
The Rangers are a very good team all year, so pretty surprising that Pittsburgh's up 3-2. Still looking good. 2 games to go, but that's a good one to watch. One of the most surprising ones was the Florida Panthers versus the Washington Capitals. The Florida Panthers were the best team in the NHL all year, and they came out and laid an egg. But they have came back. They won Game 5 tonight, 5-3, and that they took control of that series and now lead 3-2. But Washington took early control of that series, which nobody's expecting. There was a lot of people projecting sweeps or 5 games for the series. I think we might go 7. The next one is the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Boston Bruins. A little surprised here. Boston is a veteran team with a lot of good guys. Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, and Pastrnak. And actually, Carolina's winning this series 3-2. But I would not count Boston out. They got Stanley Cup champions in their blood. You never know what's going to happen. And then lastly, we got the Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay is the 2-time reigning Stanley Cup champion. Versus Toronto, which is, Canada's team, who hasn't won a first-round series in, I think 18 or 20 years, something crazy like that. And Toronto's actually up 3-2 in that series. So, again, don't count out the Tampa Bay Lightning. They pretty much have their entire pieces back from those 2 Stanley Cup championships. It's going to be a great remaining. I mean, it's the time to get into it. But let's get into the one we really want to talk about. Yeah, you need to watch the Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues, and there is 2 reasons I'm going to give you. And I hate to say the first one, but it's Kirill the Thrill. I mean, this dude is absolutely electric. He's a Russian guy, 2nd year in the league. He is tied right now for most goals in the NHL with 7. I mean, this guy he's going to score. I hate to say it, but
is it goals in the playoffs?
He's putting in stupid goals.
Yeah, 7 playoff goals.
There's not even an end goal.
Well, that's pretty significant. And one series, playoff, right?
5 games, 7 goals.
So, so they've played 5 games, 7 goals. And for all you that don't know, so in hockey, you get a point if you get an assist or a goal. And an assist is basically you are either the person that passed it to him or the person that passed it to the person that passed it to him. Mm-hmm. So you can get a lot of easy assist points there. So he's got 8
he's
points,
not a passer,
but 7 goals. So the guy is a wrecking ball. If you watched Game 5 at all last night, it wasn't a lot of these guys that are just goal scorers. They're just quick skaters that like to dangle the puck and move around.
Yeah.
This guy's throwing his weight around too. He put up some big hits last night. So he's only 25, second year in the league. He is going to be a dominant threat for a long time.
As a rookie,
it sucks that he's in
as
the
a
Central
rookie
Division.
to this game,
So, gonna see him for a long time.
watching it, to me, it looks like when he's on the ice, Minnesota's trying to play offense. They're looking for him the whole time, and when he has it, everybody in the stadium is excited. When he's off the ice, I feel like all they do is pitch and play defense. Like they don't even want to try to score until they've got Krill in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the might say is the bad part about hockey, because that's kind of how the St. Louis Blues play. Other than if Jordan Kyrou has the puck, because he's a dangler, speed guy. It's chip and chase. They're all about how can we basically force you into a turnover deep in your zone and catch you off guard. So that's like the beautiful part about playoff hockey, though, is a lot of those heavier teams that throw their weight around better and are able to force those turnovers, they're the ones that make it farther. So that's kind of why you see, Greenway for the Wild, he's like their enforcer. He plays 11 minutes. So it doesn't, Minnesota's trying, but it'll be interesting to see how game 6 goes. I'm not going to say it's anything goes because, St. Louis Blues have lost like 4 defensemen this series, which if anybody's been following St. Louis Blues, their biggest knock is their defensemen in general. The fact that we're losing like our best guys is tremendously scary. So our offense is electric. I mean, David Perron had a hattie game 1. Tarasenko had a hattie in the third period alone last night. We got guys that can score. But man, I told y'all this series is going to be electric.
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
I definitely
for the Blues.
It's something that I would definitely pick up like regular season now. Follow up, I picked my team. I've made my decision, and then I can't come back from it now. That meme. Were they in the Stanley Cup not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, or pretty deep.
I think they've made some runs.
Okay,
I think they've made some runs. I don't think they've ever made the cup.
I know they made a deep playoff push not too long ago because I did kind of keep up with, that's one of the more local teams. So that's how I pick my teams. But as an outsider watching hockey, something I do kind of know the rules because I played hockey video games. I see a lot of teams playing like possession hockey where, it's kind of like basketball where you'll kick it out, dribble drive, kick it out, dribble drive, kick it out, slide it around the boards, getting guys in the right places and just finding openings. You'll get, these pity shots that they know aren't going in, but the rebounds coming off are where most of the goals are being scored a lot of the times. And it's pretty exciting, honestly. It's fast paced. Yeah. I think when I was younger and trying to watch hockey, I'm like, I can't even see the puck. Like, I don't know where I don't know where the action is. I don't know where to look. But now I got a bigger TV. I can afford a bigger TV now. so I can see it.
I tried to watch the third period of a game.
Them big boy jobs, you can actually afford televisions.
Yeah.
I tried to watch the third period of one of these games on my phone, and it was like, nope, that's not happening.
Can't do it. Got to have at least a 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, boys, I'm telling you, we got to go to a game. It's fun watching playoff hockey on the TV, but it's just, I remember my first game that Kelsey took. It was my wedding present from Kelsey. She got us glass seats. Again, it was the, I don't remember, some Canadian team beat the crap out of the Blues 6-0. But I looked to her after that game. I was like, this is it. This is my favorite sport. It is, whenever there is a frozen puck flying at your face, and all it is like 3 inches of glass, and then you have two 240-pound boys just right in front of you. You're like, this is it. These boys don't care. They are here to throw this puck as hard as they can, and they are trying to put you on your ass. It is hockey in real life is fun. It's even harder. The way I've gained more respect for it is, we have frozen ponds out here during the winter, and just going out there and playing pond hockey with some of these guys that grew up playing pond hockey. I mean, granted,
I
they'll
can't
be
imagine
good,
how hard it would be.
but
No.
it is hard. I mean, I think I'm pretty decent at just not falling on my skates, and then it's like, what, you want me to pass you a puck? You want me to shoot a puck? I mean, I'm standing on a 3/8 inch of a blade. Like, it is incredible to watch how those guys can just move.
It's impressive to me.
And that's why it's so impressive to me.
Because I've never even put on a set of ice skates in my damn life. Not one time. Never. I'm too big to be ice skating. I'll tell you that much right now. But I've got to respect. Those guys are athletes. I respect the hell out of them.
Oh, 100%. It's a change of direction. To stop on a dime and start going the other way.
And fly.
That's impressive in any sport, right? That's a huge thing for
and
every
skate
athlete.
Backwards, just
to do it on ice.
And then skate just as fast backwards. And their feet aren't even moving.
Yeah.
It's
and
fucking
deflections.
magic.
Intentional deflections in the air. Especially on offense.
With a stick that's this big.
Deflecting a shot in like it was meant to happen. Yeah. The hand-eye coordination.
Boys, I'm telling you, we got to go. There is not. You can't tell me there's a better sport live than hockey. I just, I love football. You can't beat a good baseball game. We're going Friday night to the Cards versus Giants. We're gonna check it out. Check me out.
I don't get that game in my area.
Yeah, but, we're blacked out down here, fellas.
Oh shit, my bad, boys. But I don't think there are 20-minute periods, and I swear a period won't last 35, 40 minutes. It is quick. You will sit down and you'll be like, oh, intermission already? What the hell? It just started. It is quick. It is fast. You see hits. You see goals. It's
electric.
And it's fun.
I do have an issue with
the
two halftimes and then players maxing out like 17 minutes time on ice. What are you doing? 60-minute game, you're getting two halftimes. Why aren't you out there longer?
Well, they're not as good as the guys that are getting 25 minutes. I mean, that's it right there. I mean, but it also depends on the style of game that's going on. I know that I think it was like game 2, the Wild just blew the doors off the Blues. And it was like one line for the Blues had to play because we had no defensemen, and that was our offensive guys. And I think they ended up getting like 25 minutes. And, we had Jordan Kyrou, Robbie Thomas, and Vladdy, who is arguably our best offensive line. I think they played like 14 minutes the entire game. It's like, so it depends on what's going on in the game. But a lot of the time it's, like the Edmonton Oilers, they got Connor McDavid, McJesus, Wayne Gretzky 2.0. He's going to play a lot more than everybody else because, he has the puck on a string and he can do whatever he wants with it. So, plus, man,
it's fast-paced.
It's going hard. It's not
it's
not just a stand there around for 45 seconds. They might go up and down the ice.
That's definitely something I've enjoyed and I picked up, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to just give it a shot. But we're going to move on. We're going to end the show today with some NBA updates. NBA playoffs is in full swing. Some heavy hitting series going on right now. One of the biggest series, probably Celtics Bucks. I believe the Bucks went up today 3-2 just recently. Yeah, it's did you bet on that too, Dave?
No. No.
The game was wild. Drew Holiday hit a 3 late with like less than 50 seconds left on the clock. The Celtics gave up an offensive rebound to Bobby Porter, put it back in for a score to go up, and then a couple of game ended there. But another big headline: Ja Morant, possible bruised. What is it? Was it his tailbone?
Bone bruise in his knee.
No, bone bruise. That's where I got it. Bone bruise in the knee, possibly out for the remainder of the playoffs. They are down 3-1 to the Golden State Warriors. The Memphis Grizzlies, probably one of the more exciting teams to watch, just simply based off John Morant. He's a superior athlete. But it's not looking good for them. The Magic had to end somewhere.
I just looked it up. They are up 51 points in the fourth quarter right now against the Warriors. So that series is going.
Now I'll say this: the Grizzlies did a lot of balling this year without John Morant.
They were better without him.
You could argue that for sure. And I don't even watch NBA basketball, because it sucks. But the playoffs are cool because they actually try. And the Brooklyn Nets aren't in it. But the good things, some of the other, Coop, you got any other highlights going on in the NBA playoffs right now that I haven't mentioned?
Biggest thing for me, if you're watching, is there is a new rivalry brewing. We haven't had a good head-to-head rivalry in a long time. And I'm not talking about teams. I'm talking about players. I don't think it's going to be Magic and Bird, but Luka and Devin Booker is becoming something special.
Love it. Two young guys, two young ballers, going to be in the league and run the league for a long time.
And I say that, and it's mostly Devin Booker doing it, but they're really going at each other. I think both of them 25 years or younger. They're going to see a lot of each other's faces. I don't see those guys moving around the league. They don't seem like that type of player to me who's going to, join a super team or chase a ring somewhere else. I think they want to do it where they're at, and I love the back and forth. Devin Booker laying on the floor and smiling into the camera, saying this is the Luka special.
He's sitting there and act like he's hurt in between, and he barely got hit. That's funny stuff, man.
Yeah. That's wild, though. Those guys are 25. I mean, I know Devin Booker has been in the league for this has to be his, seventh year now. I mean, Luka, he's a little bit younger, or maybe not younger, but just came over 3 or 4 years ago, I believe. But it's just wild how young the talent is and how good they are. And, man, it is crazy to think. The thing that for me is the NBA just named
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Joker MVP. Joel Embiid had that locked up a month ago, 45 days ago? I mean, it was Embiid. And here we go, Jokic. I believe it's
so the last 4 years, it's been Giannis 2 years in a row and Jokic 2 years in a row. International players the last 4 years.
Yep. Did you guys see Jokic accept his award? Did you see how he got it?
He was in a horse stable.
Did you really see it?
I didn't watch it, but I read that on Twitter.
So he's in some kind of buggy I've never seen before back in Serbia.
He's in a horse buggy.
But it's not a regular buggy. It's got literally a swivel seat on a bar. It's not, there's only 2 wheels. I mean, it looks like something you race a horse in. And he's hanging over it because he's 6'11". And he just comes up in his tank top and he's got his dad socks on midway up the calf. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's why I love
straight
Jokic.
Up MVP of the National Basketball Association.
I've said it before. He's an anomaly. I see it happening in front of me, and I still don't understand it.
But what's great is how the Nuggets were so good this year.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have Murray. Jamal Murray. That's honestly where I fell in love with postseason basketball was last year, the Utah Jazz versus the Denver Nuggets series, where they were just going back.
Jokic reminds me of that kid that's in your gym basketball class that tries to ball everybody up, and then looks like crap doing it, but except good. I'm not going to say the name on air, but he looks like a kid we graduated with.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I could not score on that kid. Could not. I started 4 years of varsity basketball. Kid didn't even play on the high school team, right?
No,
maybe as a freshman. Maybe.
Stanton Ball Court's legend.
That we graduated
we go off air. Yeah. You might be thinking of somebody different. But when I tell you this name, you're going to laugh a lot because he looks just like him. Haircut and all. So, anyway, anything else on the NBA front before we end this show?
I still think Giannis is the best player in the NBA. Just want to throw that out there real quick.
I would agree.
And Devin Booker's 25, Luka's 23. I just looked that up to make sure.
How old is Luka?
23. 23 years old.
Could have fooled me. He looks older.
Insane. Yeah, ton of talent.
Anyway.
I mean, there's superstars in every series.
Yeah, there really is, and that's how playoff basketball should be.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna end the show a little early today. We got 50 minutes in, not bad. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're slowly gathering up those podcast audio downloads. We've hit triple digits officially, so keep listening to us. Keep sharing with your buddies. Like us on Facebook. We've got a lot of Facebook likes. We get a lot of traffic on our Facebook page when it comes to when we post podcast episodes there, as well as Spotify and iTunes. So wherever you listen to podcasts, hit us up and then leave a like. Let us know how we do. If there's something that you want us to talk about, we'll get on here and hash it out. I do want to mention this, and I'm going to get your idea on air. There is a feature on this website that you could go live while you're recording a podcast. So you could stream it to Facebook. You could stream it to YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. And then you could stream it to Twitter. Is that something that might interest you guys? Maybe
my only concern is Dave's technical difficulties. I'm totally on board if he can get the logistics worked out on his end.
So what you guys don't see us happen before we hit record is about 40 minutes worth of us figuring out how to fix Dave's crap. Yeah, our wives are very happy with us right now. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Show us some love on social media and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Much love. Go Preds.